Welcome back to another episode of What Were They Thinking? The weekly deep dive into the absolute circus that is American news. I'm your host, Jeremy, with my co host, Bernard and Darnell. And let me tell you, if you thought 2026 was going to be a quiet year, the first week of January just told us to hold its beer. This week, we're talking about taking the oil in South America, taking the land in the Arctic, and the literal taking a breath in a tragic Minneapolis standoff. We've got the White House eyeing Greenland like a Zillow listing, and RFK Jr. telling us to swap our cereal for real food while making the medical establishment lose their collective minds over flu shots. And after we get into the political mud wrestling, we're going to take a higher vibrational moment to just kind of look at a 40-year-old giant that is finally changing its colors. We're talking about the deep blue tears of the world's largest iceberg. Buckle up, because from the jungles of Venezuela to the icy waters of the South Atlantic, we're asking the question, what were they thinking? Let's dive in.
All right, thank you, Jeremy and Darnell. Let's start off with Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela and taking of the oil. All right, so this one's fun. So on the night of January 3rd, apparently the United States thought it would be a good idea to have the FBI and the military to go take a foreign leader and his wife back to New York City to face charges in New York.
Yeah.
Narco things, but then Trump said the quiet part out loud, we're there for the oil.
Yep. And that U.S. will control the Venezuelan oil industry indefinitely. Yeah.
I don't think this administration got the memo on how the United States runs its foreign policy and how it runs controlling the earth, which is we let everybody do their own thing, but we just make sure, we get our coffers filled and we say, play nice in the sandbox.
Well, that's the claim that they're, the interim authorities would give 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S. to offset, the costs of everything we just had to do,
Okay, so this is really just a bad deal.
Yeah. When 30 to 50 million barrels of oil, they're pumping, 10 million barrels now? How many years or decades will it take to get up to 40 or 50 million barrels?
Well, Darnell, that sounds like a very simple calculator question. So let's see here. Let me get a calculator out. Okay, calculator. Let's see here. We're calculating. We're saying they're processing 10 barrels of oil. So 10. We'll say 10. How many is that? 10 million barrels a day. You're saying? So yeah. So we'll say that's 10 to what? The 3, 6, 9. 10 to the 9th, and then we take that number and multiply it by 365. Okay, that's about 300 million barrels, 3 billion barrels a year, 3.5 billion barrels a year. Then we take that number and we say they're going to owe us what, 50 billion?
Yep.
Well,
50 billion.
That's just the first payment.
And then we divide that, and then we take 50 billion, right? Okay.
Because remember, they stole our oil. That's actually our oil under their land. I don't know if you know that.
That's what I'm.
Was it 76, 70, somewhere in?
So we're looking about
70s.
Approximately about 17 years, I think.
Well,
So
the rest of Trump's term, you mean?
No, more than the rest of Trump's term.
No, well, it depends
I'm
if he
not
has to say or not.
this man
But you got to remember, like in the 70s, ExxonMobil was in control of Venezuela's oil.
Yeah.
And then they kicked them out and said, well, this is actually our resource in our country. Why do you get access to it? And they've been butthurt ever since. So we're just reclaiming what was rightfully ours, which is technically rightfully theirs. But it was ours before, so we want it back.
Yeah, but
So
this
I
is
mean,
also Venezuela is
but it's
sitting
about
on
the
the largest
drugs.
oil reserve in the world, even greater than Saudi
Oh,
Arabia.
I had
Oh,
no idea.
yeah.
Yeah, but since it's our oil, we don't want them giving it away to Russia or China because it's ours.
And
Yes, it's their
that's
land,
part of
but
the Republican view on this, is that the oil is compensation for American efforts, and we're keeping it from going to Russia and China and that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
that's the Republican side of this.
yep.
The Democratic view is, well, you just violated international law. You're potentially dragging us into another long-term costly occupation, which I've heard proposed. Well, at least we're not in a drawn-out. Well, it just happened like a few days ago. Give it time.
Yeah.
You can't say we didn't get dragged into a long-term when it literally just happened.
Not to mention the fact that Russia could claim this is a escalation of the Ukrainian special military operation on their fact, because it's basically we're taking away their ability to get oil from Ukraine, destroying their oil fields.
Right.
For their special military operation. So, ironically, this could be a flashpoint for the Ukrainian war.
Right.
Well, I just read something today that the U.S. has commandeered a Russian flag oil tanker from Venezuela.
Yeah, it was the tanker. It had no ship. No, it was flying no flags. It was not on any registries. It's this new term of these ghost fleet of vehicles supposedly operating with Russia and China. And it was fleeing Venezuela. We tried to capture it. It turned around, booked it back, and then overnight they painted a Russian flag on the side of it. And then a couple days later, the ship showed up under a new name on a Russian manifest, and we went ahead and boarded it anyway. Which, I mean, it's clearly it wasn't following the laws. It wasn't registered. Wasn't flying the flag. Do we have the authority to just go in and take ships that aren't registered? I believe that's called piracy. That's another story. But it wasn't originally a Russian ship, and then they tried to claim it was. So now I can see us getting very tricky on trying to defend it and say, "Oh, the right will just, well, you're pro-Russian then." Yeah. Well, if it was really Russian, they would have done it the right way.
Yeah.
So there's this gray area of like, well, they weren't following the law. We tried to seize it. Then they tried to cover it up. But it's just
the United States has a very long and complicated history with piracy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ironically, this goes back to Africa. Basically, since the founding of the nation, piracy has always been an issue for the U.S. because we're always been a maritime trade nation. Mm-hmm. Hence why our Navy's always been around, kicking around forever and a day. Though briefly it was disbanded right after the American Revolution. Then it came back. But I would say the United States is probably more akin to knowing where they should be dealing with this as an institutional knowledge than what they're currently doing. And what this is currently screaming to me is that the United States is going back into the old ways of doing things. I guess we're going to have to engage in a little piracy of our own if everybody else is doing it just to prove a point.
Right.
And I don't think that's a good way of handling it.
Not personally.
Seeds the moral high ground, which we've been trying to establish for how many decades?
It's supposed to be the shining light on the hill. Well, maybe not so much.
Yeah, not so much anymore. There's a reason why we were so successful for so many years after World War II, and is that we kind of were just, hem hawing along and just making sure everybody played by the rules. And now we kind of decided the rules that we put in place, aka the UN Charter, all the international norms. We're going to break all that now.
It seems like people got tired of playing by the rules and watching everyone else do whatever they wanted, and they're like, well, screw it, we're going to do what we want now. And that's basically the mentality of the administration now.
Right. And I think there's got to be a decision made, I think, collectively, and I think Europe is the first institution that will be like, no, you're going to play by the rules, and we're going to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I think
that brings us into the next topic,
right?
Is Greenland.
Yes.
Because you have.
Oh, we're still calling it Greenland?
Well, I mean, we're talking about Europe taking action against the U.S., and you got Press Secretary Levitt had confirmed that Trump is actively discussing options for acquiring Greenland. And like we can already use it for military defense. We have military personnel there. They're part of NATO, which we are like allies. And so NATO is like basically, well, if you try to do anything, we're gonna invoke Article 4 and 5. And the NATO, the European Union, they're gonna have to choose: do we side with NATO or do we side with the US? And so we're basically gonna have everyone except America, even though we're infighting, against us.
Yep.
We'll have Russia, China, like all of the Asian continent, essentially like, no, screw America. And then Europe's gonna be like, yeah, screw America. What the hell are they doing?
Not to mention the Canadians.
Right. Like it.
It makes no political sense. The only way I think it makes political sense is because he's trying to cover up the Epstein stuff still. By causing us.
Was that supposed to? They're supposed to release the rest of those. When was that? The night
they just admit they only released 1% of them.
Yep.
And they found more too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This Greenland thing is a fantasy, and if he tries anything, I put up a post on Facebook the other day, and I asked, how many wars has the U.S. won by ourselves?
Yeah.
I think one.
Yes, we have this big bad military, but guess what? We can't do it by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the one war that we did win by ourselves.
My friend put a funny comment up. He said the Civil War, we beat ourselves.
That's about it.
I was actually thinking the Mexican-American War.
No, American War. We had the
we had help with that.
Yeah, was it the Filipinos? It was one of them.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking the war before the American Civil War, the Mexican-American War.
Yeah.
That one.
Potentially. I can't remember all the details of it.
Yeah, I don't remember who the belligerents
The one that pops into my head, like the one we won by ourselves, would just be the Civil War.
Yeah.
That was the only. But I mean, at least like Mike Johnson is saying, a military action to take Greenland would be inappropriate. So at least they're saying that. But their whole thing is like, we need to control it. We need to control the Arctic before Russia and China does. Like, a whole bunch of Russia is already in like Arctic area, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
I mean, it's only
like a large chunk of their country is part of it.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And we already have access to Green. Like, we can go there when we need to.
Yeah.
Like, why does it need to be like on our books?
Imperialism.
By that sense, we need to control like Western or Eastern Europe before Russia does. So we should just start invading Poland and take that too.
Yep.
Like, so, Darnell, the answer to your question from before, it was the Mexican-American War.
Mm.
It was mano a mano, because the only other group that sided with us was the Republic of California, which is now a state. So at the time, it was becoming a state at the time. So we can basically say that for sure. But yeah, what were you guys saying? Because I just wanted to confirm that before I moved on.
I mean, just that we needed to control that. They're basically saying we need to control the Arctic for its minerals and before Russia or China. And
I would be. Canada's doing a pretty good job of it by themselves. So, why rock the boat?
Because that's what we do nowadays.
Also, isn't Greenland the other way of Russia and China?
Not necessarily.
I mean,
No,
You can
not
go
if you go up across
Yeah.
the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
but-
go in a straight line through the North Pole,
Yes, but I
and
mean,
it gets a little wonky up there because as we're used to seeing the globe laid out,
but they're going to have
flat,
to come down through Canadian and European controlled Arctic areas.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
That's the only way to.
You can come through the Bering Strait, which is half controlled by Russia.
Yeah, but then they'd have to come right into our territory.
No, if they hug the Asian coastline, no.
No, but I'm saying like I don't understand how we need. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like we
Well,
already
reason why-
have
I mean,
we have Alaska up there with all of our military, right next to Russia and China area up there close to the Arctic. We have
It's more
Canada
about-
that's covering the rest of the Arctic there, and then it goes over and around and it starts going into European section.
It's more about
And that's for
actually not
Greenland.
it's not necessarily about oil up there.
No,
It's about the shipping lanes that will be opening up
I was just about to say that, but
because it will be faster to go that way than through the Panama Canal.
guess what? If we have nobody to trade with, what
It
good
doesn't
is it?
matter if we have people to trade with. What matters is that it provides a close. If Europe maintains a decent relationship with China, and they are still importing stuff from China, it is faster to ship it across that way than it is to go by land.
true.
Through the
And if we end up
European
taking South America for ourselves, then we
Then
cut
they can't
Panama
go-
Canal. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's another whole because then go through the around south tip of the Cape Horn in Africa
Mhm.
or around South
America.
America.
See, I
It's
see what the
really-
problem is.
Dangerous
See what the
shipping
problem
wise.
is. You guys are trying to make sense of what is going on.
Good point. I see.
Yeah.
I see your point.
I think it's basically like I tried to say before. It's a distraction technique for domestic issues happening at home.
Epstein. What?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Oh yeah, who said that out loud? And I think it also goes to another thing that's been happening is, and like I said, issues at home. This kind of ties in a little bit to immigration issues, and maybe we should move on to that a little bit.
You know, I want to say something about that before we move on. Okay.
Yep.
I want to take a step back to Venezuela real quick.
Okay.
So one of the excuses was he's a dictator,
Mhm.
so we had to get rid of him and save the people because
Right.
it's bad over there. Okay, but didn't we just round up a bunch of Venezuelans looking for asylum and send them back over there?
Well, and not only that, the rightfully elected leader, we're not going to install her back in
Exactly.
because she won the Nobel Peace Prize and Trump didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not supposed to say that part, but
Oh no, Trump won the FIFA.
right, and then
Peace
bombed
Prize.
the country.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm falling into the trap too. I'm trying to make sense of
Yeah,
everything.
and then
The only way it makes sense is trying to avoid the domestic policies at home that are killing him.
they did this because of drug trafficking charges and like I think some weapon charges, like he had a machine gun. Okay,
Yeah.
he's the leader of another country. Our
But
laws don't apply. He
Drug
can have a
trafficking,
freaking
he
machine
just
gun.
pardoned a guy
Exactly.
that trafficked-
He just pardoned a
400
former president for the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. And which means, and there's also going to be,
Yeah.
issues of immunity being brought up as being president of a country. Oh, see Trump versus United States.
Yep.
Remember remember, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Oh, this is okay. We can move on.
Yeah, I would like to talk about our favorite thing at this time of year, ice and ice removal.
Yep.
Because apparently Jeremy, we had some issues in Minneapolis with ice shootings.
Yes.
And state federal clashes. And boy, the Department of Justice can't make charges stick nowadays.
It's I don't know if you guys watched the footage of it.
Yes.
So basically, they're saying that this woman was allegedly tried to strike this officer with her vehicle. And I watched it. I mean, she tried to back away, get out of there, and then she turned her wheels and was trying to escape. And this ICE agent stepped in front of the car and then went around to the side to the front fender. And as she was pulling away, shot her as she was trying to pull away. Now, the training dictates you're not supposed to shoot into a vehicle to try to stop a vehicle and disable it. That's exactly what he was doing, trying to stop her from getting away. And he shot her 3 times in the head, I believe. So then the guy just walked over there. He was fine. Now he's saying he was injured and all this other stuff, but he just casually walked over there, said, "Oh, someone should call 911." They weren't letting people help. And the Republicans are saying the agent had a right to defend himself against a vehicle being used as a weapon. Not if you step in front of it as they're trying to leave and you use deadly force to try to disable a vehicle. That's not self-defense. That's you being on a power trip.
Murder. Yeah, that's murder.
Yeah. The Democrats they're focused on more seeing these ICE agents as just rogue. They're doing whatever they want. They're not following the law. This was an American citizen that they killed too. So it wasn't someone that they even had jurisdiction to do anything to. So, and then you got the mayor of Minneapolis telling ICE to literally get the fuck out of here, were his words, quoting directly. And then you got Kristi Noem saying, "Oh, he was just using appropriate force to defend himself from a fleeing suspect," and blah blah.
That killed me when I heard her say that.
Yeah, saying they were trying to surround the agents, and that's I'm like, no, what do you we can? It's like the Orwellian, the final thing was asking you to not believe what you see with your own eye. I'm paraphrasing the quote here, but they asked us to not believe what we're seeing with our own eyes.
This comes on top of another case, ironically involving ICE in a car, where they shot somebody in the car. Person didn't die, but then they charged the person with endangering the life of the ICE officer, and it didn't stick. The Department of Justice, because they didn't turn over documents in times with the discovery and stuff, and the judge threw it out as dismissed with prejudice.
Yeah, but the reason why they didn't turn over documents in time is because
they knew they were going to lose
damn documents.
Yeah,
that was.
It's literally at this point, the government is so incompetent that the judges are no longer believing the government.
Well,
some judges are, but those are the ones that were, bought and put in place.
Yeah,
but look at all the senior status judges are coming out of the woodwork and they're not quitting, and then all of a sudden they're taking all these cases, and look at what's happening. It's like the Nicolas Maduro case. It ended up in front of a senior status judge that was appointed by Bill Clinton.
In the same district where Trump said that those courts were, not doing a good job because they prosecuted him, saying, "Oh, these courts are terrible," and he brought them there.
I think ironically, I think the charges will be dismissed on Maduro at some point in the future.
I think the charges will be dismissed.
Well, yeah, the first day they were like, "Are you Nicholas?" Was like, "I am the president of Venezuela."
Yeah. I think it'd be dismissed on not technical grounds, but on state sovereign immunity grounds.
Yeah. And then that whole operation too. I mean, we keep going back to it. It was such a big story.
Ironically, because it's what it's going to say. Because because they keep talking about the damn oil.
Right. Well, they're
not sticking to
they were framing it as a policing action for an arrest warrant and blah, blah, blah. So, and that's how they got around having to tell Congress within 48 hours of the what is that? The I'm blanking on the name now.
Some sort of law about
if you do a military operation within 48 hours, you have to notify Congress of what you did, why you did it, all the details. I'm blanking on the name of that right now.
Probably the authorization,
the war authorization, something. And so to get around that, they just said, well, it wasn't a military operation like that. It was strictly, serving a warrant.
And it just happened. The military happened to decide to help the FBI.
Policing action, and policing actions in our history have never turned into drawn-out wars.
Policing action. When are we gonna go and do a policing action against Putin?
Yeah, or a policing action against
Z or whatever the heck his name is.
No, I was thinking about the Penguins.
Well, because Putin doesn't dance in public and mock Trump about it. That's what it was. Putin doesn't dance around in public mocking Trump.
Yeah.
I
just, I was optimistic that it can't get worse. I was stupid.
Oh, it will get worse at this point.
And that was
I'm just trying to figure out what it's going to be.
And you got to love the timing. Like I said, it literally happened the night before DOJ was supposed to release the rest of the Epstein files.
Yep.
So
now, I think this might be a good point to point out that Congress is back in town.
Are they?
Yeah, they're actually back in town.
Johnson's not going to just not bring them in for another month, just for giggles.
No. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. The House is moving to override 2 vetoes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Anything good?
Oh yeah. It has to do with the Water Act in Colorado and Alcatraz down in Florida.
Yeah, that's what he did. He did them to get back at the first one was what's her name? The blonde Boebert, yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah. And this essentially was the first one that Water Act was basically because water can get extremely toxic in Colorado, was to help provide clean water to Colorado over a long-term infrastructure increasing plan, which is really key there.
Yeah, Colorado water is very important.
Right. And just very important. And this is just a continuation of the trend of trying to pull NCAR out of Colorado and all the other stuff because he pardoned that person for state crimes, which he has no right to do, and is now trying to force that governor to acknowledge it. Yeah. And they're going no, states' rights, no. The party that's like state rights all of a sudden doesn't like it when it's being used against them. Then we have now the Florida Everglades one is giving more power and to a tribe down there. I think it's called the Muskegee something, and it would give them more control over Everglades because it's seen as their ancestral lands. And what is in the Everglades currently, in the middle of it? Thinking something like alligator Alcatraz.
Yep.
And that would basically shut that place down because the Native Americans don't like it.
Well, didn't they have to shut it down because they were causing damage to the Everglades?
Yeah, and it would get more control over the people that value it as their ancestral home.
Yeah.
And so this way it would never happen again.
I see. Yeah.
So the Trump administration doesn't like it because of that. And these 2 videos are probably going to get out of the Senate too. So they're going to be I would say this was probably one of the most stupidest vetoes that he tried doing. They're bipartisan supported bills, and he just did it because he felt like it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Because he's a child.
Yes, we have a 3-year-old running the country apparently.
Throwing temper
That brags up,
tantrums.
yes, and apparently likes to brag that he can pass dimension tests.
Yeah.
3 in 1 year. Okay.
He's actually only taken one. He just thinks he's taken 3.
Oh, God. So, which leads to another issue that's also coming out of the U.S. House of Representatives that the U.S. Senate's going to have to deal with. ACA subsidy deals might be on the table. It's gotten its discharge petition. Like 4 Republicans signed on it. It's coming to the House floor to in the House of Representatives, and it's near you at some point in the near future. It looks like it's going to pass out of the House. Now, whether it not gets brought up in the Senate is a different deal. This is a 3-year extension of the current, the former subsidies increase that ended on December 31st of 2025. Excuse me, I'm still struggling with that, thinking that we're in 2026. So this is interesting because people are already beginning to feel the pain of this. Yep. The House of Representatives wants to end the pain of this, apparently, and the U.S. Senate has something they need to do about this if it gets kicked out and passed out of the U.S. House of Representatives. So they got to make a decision.
The House really doesn't want to do anything, but they're seeing all these elections go the opposite of what they want. Now they're like, oh my goodness. Well, let me see if I can stem the wave here.
Right. So people like it was one of the Republicans that defected on this was Representative Mike Lawler, which is out of Westchester County, New York, that signed a discharge petition. So what are these Republicans over in the Senate going to do? You know what I mean?
And if it passes the Senate, well, even if it passes the House, then
it will pass the House because it got the votes, it's got the signatures for the discharge petition.
Then you need to ask, what was the point of the shutdown?
Yep.
Was it the whole reason they shut is because they didn't want to extend the ACA subsidies?
Now remember, the Senate, by ending the shutdown, got those senators that defected said we got a deal that will vote on this. So now the Republicans in the Senate have a much harder problem to deal with because they got the thing sitting on their desk now if it passes the House of Representatives, and they're going to be like, so you promised us a vote on this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if they don't give the vote, then we're only at another shutdown towards the end of January because they only did it to like January. So what's going to happen in January? So is there going to be another massive shutdown because it passes out of the House, the Senate doesn't want to take it up, and now the funding resolution is being held up because of those Democrats that crossed the line in the Senate are going to be like, you burned me once, shame on me.
Yeah.
Burn me twice. Now I'm pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why I'm like, if they pass it, it just like why did we shut down?
Yeah, it's a no.
Why did you cost those people all this money? Why did you get all those people fired? But that's all on them at that point. They can't say it's the Democrats.
Right. So at this point, I think it's a question of what is the U.S. House of Representatives does with this discharge position. If it gets pushed out, then it's likely going to die in the Senate, but they need to have a vote on it because if they don't, then it makes the deal that they kind of signed up there in the Senate with those couple Democrats there look pretty meaningless, and they're going to be pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So especially I think
with midterms coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting dynamic.
And the House they only have one seat right now, right, in the lead, with because Marjorie's out and another
the guy died.
Yep. So I think they only have a 1-seat majority at the moment.
Yeah, which means special elections are coming up, folks, before the main election, which means this could be a Democratic majority House before the midterms.
Well, one of them, the California representative, they're still using the old district, not the new one that got passed. So the old district is still Republican leaning for the special election, but once the general midterm election comes, it'll go to the new district map, which is now Democratic controlled in that district.
Right, but
Heavily
it's
Democratic.
but
They could technically still have a Republican in that seat for a few months, but then they'll have the regular election and probably get swapped out for Democrat.
Leaning Republican seats have been flipping to Democrats like
That's
crazy.
True.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
Special election.
So I mean, he could, we could get a Democrat in the special election too.
Which means Democratic control.
Or at least like 50-50.
Or
Yeah.
no, it can't be 50-50 because the House of Representatives is 435. So therefore it must be it's one of the oddest numbers in politics. So therefore, so if it goes to 218 Democrats, bye-bye Republican majority before the midterms, and let the subpoenas roll out of those committees.
Yep. And as Trump said, if the Democrats win the midterms, we'll just find a reason to impeach him. And it's not finding a reason; it's just picking which one we want to use.
Yeah, they may be impeaching him before the midterms.
I mean, well, he has been impeached. It's just a matter of actually doing something at that point.
No. He has not been impeached yet.
I thought one of the votes passed.
No, that was last time.
Yeah, and nothing came of it. Like they didn't do anything after they did the impeachment.
He's been impeached twice.
Right.
During the first term. He hasn't been impeached since the second term started. So yeah. But this is going to be interesting what happens if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because they might impeach him on something like, I don't know, Venezuela. And
or January 6th with all the stuff that came out
with the pardons.
With the pardons, with James's testimony there.
Yeah.
I can't think of his last name at the moment. Oh my god, I'm blanking.
What's his
Jack
name?
Smith?
Yeah, Jack Smith.
Or Jack Smith, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said James.
Because you're probably thinking about
I mixed up.
Issues.
Yeah. There's so many things going on. I can't keep it straight.
Why do you? I personally, I know we didn't do a podcast last week, but it's partially because I needed the break from the fire hose the stupidity that's been going on, and
it doesn't stop.
For prepping for this show, I was like, this is just I take one topic and you got an hour-long show.
Yeah, every week I'm like, okay, I want to talk about this, but this came up, so let's not talk about that. But this came up. It's like,
and don't forget about that other thing.
Yeah,
maybe we're gonna have to go to 3 times a week doing this podcast, which is because of how badly this stuff is going.
I think we're getting better at just kind of cramming a lot in about the subject, and then trying to,
depack it a little bit.
You can't go too far because there's just so much. It's just
at this point, I'm surprised we don't have a Chiron ticker saying Santa Claus pleads guilty to mail fraud.
Yeah,
I mean, just another war on Christmas.
Yeah, or something like that. That's how bad it's gotten lately.
The war on Christmas. Fucking SEAL Team 6 goes to the North Pole.
it's Jesus Mrs. Claus.
For not paying tariffs, they arrest them.
Yeah, for not paying tariffs on gifts.
Yeah.
It
hurts the brain sometimes.
I'm a little older, and
you guys are older than me, just in general.
I've seen more presidents, and
what was it
more
like
administration?
Seeing FDR in office.
This is just
I think he was there when Truman was there.
I'm trying to find a time when it was just this chaotic, and the only time I can come up with is his last administration, but it wasn't this chaotic.
I Well,
I
I
would
mean, it
actually
was
say
chaotic, but
maybe
in a tamer
the-
sense.
maybe the Andrew Jackson's administration. They did have a party at the White House that did destroy most of it for the inauguration.
Yeah, but
because people got so drunk.
It wasn't
That's just having a good time.
And he did wreck
but
the
Trump's
Bank of the
people had a
United
party
States.
that destroyed part of Congress.
As part.
Yeah.
No, but he did. But Andrew Jackson did get rid of the Bank of the United States, which did throw a lot of turmoil and stuff.
That's all right. It's Rothschild-owned central banks now, which we can check Venezuela off the list because they didn't have a Rothschild-owned bank, and now they will.
No, I'm just saying. Just general.
Same with Iraq and Afghanistan. There's a couple more on that list. What's on the list? Oh, Colombia, Cuba, Iran's still on that list. Wonder where we're going next.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Chile.
Really? Just a random, just to throw us off the scent.
Yeah,
just go invade Chile. Just
it's because of the rare earth minerals. I think that's in that country, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
Yeah,
I could see that though. He talked about Colombia could be next, Cuba could be next, which Graham was very excited when he said Cuba. I could see him just go with a random country just to throw us off. Like what?
I'm really starting to worry about my house in Jamaica because they're rich in bauxite, which is pretty much aluminum. So is he going to go to Jamaica and try to?
The United States has too much bauxite, I think, in the Midwest somewhere, or in the Rockies. So I don't think that's really an issue. I was thinking more rare.
But why destroy our natural resources when we could destroy someone else's?
We have oil too, but
well, because too many rich people vacation in Jamaica. That's why.
Yeah, I can see it though.
Too many people like going to Jamaica for vacation.
I think they prefer the Cayman Islands. They want to keep,
Well, that's for super rich. I'm talking like the poor rich. For the poor rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not the middle class, the poor rich.
Yeah.
The several $100 million or several $100,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you at least got like $2 to $3 million in the bank. Yeah, the poor rich. What I would also say is that I guess we want to. Speaking of being poor and rich, I think Darnell, we missed the topic last week. You really wanted.
Oh yeah.
James didn't do it, but Trump did.
Yeah. So this is about the mortgage fraud that he says Letitia. What's her name? Letitia or Letitia James?
I think
Letitia James.
Yeah. Did.
And
about signing a mortgage saying that she was going to live in a house. It was her primary residence, but it really wasn't. Yeah, come to find out, Trump has 2 of them down in Florida.
Oops.
Maybe we should be charging him with mortgage fraud.
Exactly.
Now, there's no statute of limitations on this charge. Somebody might have a problem when he leaves office.
I was sitting there reading. I'm like, Trump has 2 properties that he says are his primary residence, and they were both mortgages were signed in less than a month apart.
Outstanding, Trump.
So he can't say I was living in one, then I moved to the next one. It was less than a month.
To quote a great American philosopher, did I do that? That's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah,
that is really impressive.
Now it's funny because now they're looking at his other properties down in Florida about what what he marked on his mortgage when he was getting his mortgages. So it's
So how's that limestone bedrock doing down there, Darnell? Is it completely dissolved yet? Because that's going to basically eliminate the state of Florida at this point.
Oh yeah,
I'm really hoping for that to happen quite soon.
Well, just
Like,
in certain
well,
locations.
It's like
we have an apocalypse going on down here, especially around my neighborhood. Let's see, 3 houses burn up. Then yesterday there was a fire. Nobody could find it.
sounds like you got an arsonist on the loose.
I'm like, gee.
Just follow the
All
smoke.
right.
And we're one of the only Democratic sections in our area.
I wonder what's happening there. How's your volunteer fire department doing? Might want to go join that.
Yeah, you know.
Not you.
Wow.
You stay away from doing that.
Oh,
You don't need you in the hospital again.
Hey, I can drive.
You can stay at the firehouse and make them lunch when they come back. You
No,
can join the
master.
women.
Then
You
I
can join
eat it
the-
and get the itis, and you know.
You can be part of the women's auxiliary. How about that? They take care of the firefighters when they
Just
come
make
back
him
to
the grill master. He just cooks up
Yeah,
like,
there
all
you
those
go.
like all the firefighter fundraisers where they like grill up all the chicken and all. That'll be
Oh.
Darnell.
Speaking
Yep.
of that, let's make America a healthy diet again.
Yeah, yeah. That's
All
not
right.
wrong. I'm
Healthy
sure.
diet.
What could go wrong here, guys?
Yeah. So basically, RFK Jr. and the USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins unveiled a new reset to the U.S. nutrition policy, prioritizing real food and removing ultra-processed items from federal programs. And while at the same time, RFK Jr. Was kind of sparking some debate by suggesting it might be better if fewer children received the flu vaccine. While, like up here in Connecticut, we have had the highest rate of flu before the new year that we've seen in a long time. So, and most of those that are coming down and getting hospitalized are children that are being affected by it the most this year in Connecticut, between the flu and RSV, not the adults. So, I mean, the Democrats like support the idea of like the real food, like making healthy, getting the processed shit out of all the chemicals, the preservatives, all that kind of stuff. But they do not like the like anti-vax kind of rhetoric that's going around, which because you can stop a lot of pediatric deaths with it. And they'll show a lot of times like European vaccines versus American vaccines. And they make it seem like you're just injecting a baby with like 70 vaccines all at once. I mean, it's spread out over a few years.
Yeah.
To help these kids, like as they get older, to be able to compensate for things. Whereas the Republicans, they're also liking the health reset as a way to like kind of fight chronic disease and the big food corruption. And they're looking at the vaccines as more of a call for informed consent rather than an outright ban. So like the whole, parents should have more say over what goes in their kid's body, which I understand. I see their point. But when you have the scientific data backing up these vaccines that have been used for years and you see the results of the deaths that they can prevent versus we have data of communities that refuse to get these vaccines, and we can see by the numbers how often they're getting infected by these things and dying. So, I mean, you got to weigh the benefits versus the cost.
Something just went through my mind about the healthy diets and stuff, how they're getting rid of all the processed stuff. Now, knowing this administration, what happens when Kellogg's decides to give a massive donation to certain individuals' political careers?
Yep. I mean, here's the thing. These companies already remove all that stuff for European countries. You can go buy Skittles over in Europe and they don't have titanium dioxide in them.
Yeah.
You can go buy a cereal over there and it's not loaded with excess sugar and chemical-based dyes. They have the ability to do it already. So it's not like they can't. They already do it. It's just here they can do it cheaper. They can do it on a larger scale that this ultra-processed food is literally designed to get you addicted to it and crave more of it. And that's why they want it in there, because it keeps us going back. Like you start to eat that bag of Doritos, the chemicals in there and the way it's processed, your brain reacts to it. And it's like, oh my God, I need more. And you just end up eating the whole freaking bag. It's designed that way. Now, if you get the ones that are designed without all those additives, with real cheese, without the chemicals, you don't end up eating the whole bag. You have a few and you're like, oh, that was good. And you can actually put it down. Your brain isn't trying to override you and make you eat more. And that's why they don't want it, because they'll lose profits.
Yeah. What was I going to say? So one of the things I wanted to say about the vaccine issue, okay, is that people are so, we got to do this for the good of the country. We got to do this, this, and this. And then they want individualism, but certain things are not individualized. It's for the good of the whole of the community. Okay. It's like a fire department. You have it because it's good for the whole of the community. Mm-hmm. You have, certain services that are done that way. That's the reason why government does those services. What people don't understand about vaccines, it's not that you get a vaccine and you're protected. It's on the preponderance of everybody getting it, and it protects the whole community.
Yes.
Okay. And it makes the whole community more resistance to that, having a foothold in the community, and then from getting out of control. So it's like with the COVID-19 and everything like this. Could we have a community without vaccines? Sure. Do you really want to live in lockdown, folks, and having hospitals being overrun all the time? Because that's what it would come down to.
Yeah.
So maybe, if you're rejecting on religious reasons or all this stuff, I think that some people need to check some of this stuff at the door, because if we were to get rid of vaccines and stuff like that, and some of them out of medicines, well, the only way for a human population to survive is reduce the human population.
Well, and there are,
which means people are going to die.
And I can see the argument, like, for example, the flu vaccine. I can see the argument of not wanting to get it. Like, the flu doesn't always kill you outright. It can. You can get it bad enough where it can kill you. But most of the time, you can get over the flu.
Right.
Now, I personally haven't gotten a flu shot in, I don't know, quite a few years. Because I just focus on my own health. And if I get sick, I will isolate, or I'll even throw on a mask if I need to.
Right.
Like if I'm going into public and I'm like really bad and I have to go somewhere, fine, I'll put on a mask. But if you're going to say, like, especially for the Republican side, who is very anti-mask, if you're not going to get the vaccine, then you need to take extra precautions to either A, not get the flu, or B, be responsible if you do have it, so that you're not spreading it to other people. And so that's a part of the topic that I don't think they're really talking about or thinking about. It's like, like I can see for certain vaccines, it could make sense to maybe not inject yourself every year or have your kid get injected every year.
Right.
I mean, especially if like they're homeschooled or you're in a different situation, like you're not going to public schools all the time, constantly being exposed to all that kind of viruses. Okay, maybe it's not for you, and you can use other steps to mitigate. Maybe that's better for you.
But when you're going to school, if you look at the amount of absences that these kids, and you can tell what part of the country has the least amount of vaccinated people, because you can look at the school attendance records.
Yep.
Like down here, these kids are getting sick left and right.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just, I think it's also a educational thing, and people not being educated enough to understand what's going on.
Yeah. And again, like you can have, I think it's perfectly acceptable. There are some vaccines I think maybe you can skip. Some I think maybe it should be a little more pushed as like you really should get this, but you also need to look at the science of the education of what can I do if I'm not getting this vaccine to keep my kids safe, to keep others safe around me. And that's there's a disconnect there. They're like, oh, well, we need to inform. Well, you also need to make sure you're doing your part if you're not going to get that vaccine.
Right. And I would also say so some people can't get the flu vaccine if they're allergic to eggs.
Certain ones, yes, you can't. They have some that you can do now, but
some now, because it used to be years ago, if you're allergic to eggs, you couldn't get the flu vaccine.
Well, I think that was also when they switched. I remember having to give out the flu shot in the military and asking that, and they had a separate because they were coming out with the nasal spray for that at the time.
Yeah.
And so there was one. If you had to get one shot versus or one thing versus the other, but the standardized one was like it had the whole egg thing in it. Yeah, if you're allergic to eggs, but again, that depends on what kind. That's that informed consent. You need to know about these. There's different types of the same kind of vaccine. There's different effects it can have. There's different chemical compound makeups within the vaccine. It's same thing with the COVID one. There were different, depending. Like some people couldn't get the Moderna because they were allergic to a certain thing, but they could get the Pfizer or like vice versa. You know what I mean? So it's education, and that's asking a lot in America to educate yourselves, not on Facebook.
That's the reason
like actual education, not through memes.
Speaking of education and science, oh gosh, speaking of education and stuff, let's go to a little bit of a science nerdy topic. Blue icebergs.
This is kind of cool. Iceberg A23A. It's one of the world's largest icebergs. It started turning to a deep, vibrant blue because it's starting to melt and disintegrate in the South Atlantic. It was once twice the size of Rhode Island, and now it's just pouring like melted water into the ocean. The blue hue of it is, for the science nerds, it's coming from the compression of air bubbles over thousands of years. And you're basically seeing this air from thousands of years ago being released out into the atmosphere and into the water, which is kind of cool. When you think about it, it's like this is time capsule of how the environment was thousands of years ago.
We're going to have to get some pictures on this stuff.
Yeah, I had NASA put a big article about this out. It's a really cool looking iceberg. You can see it's kind of like I don't really know the shape to describe it. A wide base, and it comes to a narrower point at the top, and you can see these blue striations going through. It looks really cool looking, and it's just floating around the sea. Like I said, it used to be twice the size of Rhode Island, and now it's closer to. It's a little bit larger than New York City right now. And so we had some astronauts aboard the International Space Station. They got some photographs of it so you can see it from space. It looks really cool. I highly suggest looking this thing up if you want just like a cool little science thing. But this thing it's floating around. It was stuck for a while on like some low land, and then it started drifting away, and they don't think it's going to last through the rest of the year. It'll probably be melted by the end of the year, but it's been out at sea for about 30 years now, floating around. It got stuck it broke free after it was stuck on like a small shelf. It was swirling around the ocean for several months in like a vortex, and it eventually broke out, almost hitting South Georgia Island. I don't know if you guys remember that story. There's an iceberg headed for it a few years ago. It was this iceberg. And they've just been, tracking it and just learning as much as they can about it. But there are a bunch more that are still floating around along the Antarctic shoreline. That are A81, B22A, D. They don't. Just name them with numbers, but they're all larger than 1,500 square kilometers. These icebergs, and they're just kind of floating around there, waiting for their turn to head off into the ocean. But it's really cool. You're seeing this thing photographed from space, and these blue lines of ancient air bubbling out of this thing that's been trapped there for thousands of years. Like it's so cool to think about as this like fresh water is pouring into the ocean off of this like waterfalls. It's I find it fascinating. Some people might think I'm weird, but that's fine.
No, that's fine. That's I guess we're getting towards the end of the show here, so we have one more thing we need to do. We need to talk about this. Who gets a prize this week?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
where are they thinking award goes?
Nominations.
You know,
I'm
going to say I would like to an honorable mention would be because we didn't talk about him today. Pete Hegseth, with his demoting Mark Kelly.
Yeah.
To dock his pay and I don't know if you've noticed this. I recently saw there's a new video that came out of Hegseth back in 2016 talking about how the military shouldn't follow unlawful orders. In a speech he was giving.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, great.
So he's literally docking the pay of this guy when he
said the same exact thing
9 years ago. Said the exact same thing in the speech.
All right, yeah. Put that on the back burner. We're gonna have to talk about that next week.
Yeah.
It's still developing, so that'll be next week.
Okay. We got Speaker Johnson with I'm being stupid and not dealing with things. We like
saying
I said,
it wasn't a regime change, it was just asking the regime to change what they're doing.
Yeah, that's I was more
wait.
Reporters asked him, he's like, this wasn't a regime change. This was we're just asking the regime to change what they were doing.
This is a pretty good candidate this week, and he wins a lot of them.
And you have like Trump and Tulsi and all these, like his cabinet, the whole campaign, their whole thing was, we're going to stop regime change. We're going to stop these going in and removing dictators. There's a whole campaign promise. Like,
and
that's their whole thing.
Taylor, and the reason why I say this is a pretty good candidate this week is even Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, this is not what MAGA is. It's like, okay.
Yep.
You even lost Marjorie Taylor Greene on this one. Okay, that's
the QAnon queen herself. Yep.
Yeah. And then we also have I would hate to say this, but I think it's almost to a certain extent is Maduro himself, because he was kind of like taught in the U.S. and then he kind of ends up in the U.S. So I'm almost leaning towards, and then he was being a jerk in court to the judge that was trying to help him.
Oh,
yeah.
I think about.
So I'm almost kind of leaning towards Maduro because if he had just kept his mouth shut, he'd probably still be down there.
I mean, that's a heavy one to wade into.
I know. I'm taking I'm flipping the script on its head a little bit.
That's oof.
Because he was taught in the U.S. Like
he was, and I mean, and he was technically he stayed in. He wasn't the duly elected leader. There's someone else who got more of the vote. So
he was taunting. He taunted him, and then as I like to point out, do stupid things, win stupid prizes.
I mean, the prize was still against international law, but
right, and he didn't trust his own people enough to secure, make him for security. It was all Cuban security guards.
That's tough. Oh,
I know.
Why got me so hard? Damn! I don't know who to vote for now.
That's
a good one.
Yeah, I know.
Man,
I know that flip of the coin there on that one. You kind of look at it and go like, he kind of asked for it at some level.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Speaker Johnson always wins.
Speaker gotta go.
The reason why I'm actually saying Speaker Johnson actually wins it this week is because, one, he's lost control of his caucus again.
Yep.
He's having to override vetoes, and he's got this ACA thing that's coming up down the pike, and he can't stop it.
Which he literally shut down the government for before.
They're
Correct.
Yeah, I would pick Johnson because they're talking about getting rid of the whole leadership.
Well, it will be done if the Democrats take control before the midterms.
Yeah.
So once again, this week's this is the first going off for the first of the year. Speaker Johnson, what were you thinking?
We're gonna have to build him a shelf for all these awards.
Yeah, you know.
Maybe we'll get him a little medal he can wear around his neck so he can.
Yeah, like his buddy.
Well, I was thinking a millstone.
Oh God! Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm just. But I really do think Speaker Johnson really does deserve it. I think the Venezuela thing and Maduro is kind of everybody was being stupid there, and we ended up with a stupid prize overall for the United States. But like I said, this is going to be like Speaker Johnson just keeps on winning this award because he just does not think things through, And I think that's part of the reason why he keeps winning the award. If he actually stopped for a moment and actually thought something through and didn't just listen to the White House, he might actually stop winning this award.
Yeah, he just didn't get a chance to look at that yet.
No, maybe we should send him a nice, shiny little statue.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
If you want to help us in that endeavor, we always can take money from you. But we'll settle for you liking, commenting, and subscribing, which will be much more helpful in the long run at this point.
Yep.
So, with that being said, don't be a jerk and don't win the What Were You Thinking award, and stay thinking this week. Until next week, this is the What Were You Thinking? What were they? Blah 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 blah. What were they thinking? Podcast. With that being said, remember to like, comment, and subscribe.